Kit Young is a pianist, composer, improviser who co-founded Gitameit Music Institute in 2003 with Burmese colleagues. When she lived in Thailand, Myanmar, and China from 1992 to 2011, her performing collaborations with improvisers centered on expanding languages of time, touch, and tone. Her study of Burmese Sandaya with Tita Lulin o Koko and Sandaya U Yi Nue and others formed her core motivation for a long-time devotion to music in Myanmar. Currently, Ms. Young lives in Washington, D.C., where she will be joining us from today. The paper is titled Humming Courage, Gitameit Musicians Meet Trauma in Civil Conflict.
Greetings, I'm Kit Young. My thanks to Vern de la Peña, Gitameit Musicians, and APSE colleagues for inviting me to join you today to share some of my reflections. When times are uncertain, as in the last almost 2 years of the pandemic, assumptions shatter, habits change, and expectations take new turns in adjusting to circumstances. People no longer take their lives for granted. As I'm sure you've done, I've asked many questions this year about being a musician, about music's role in our lives, and about art's meaning in a world so divided, so uncertain. Whether practicing traditional or contemporary music, are musicians here for others or for themselves? In an emergency, in times of peril, can musicians become instruments of courage? And can they encourage silenced voices to come into sound and well-being? When each day is an emergency, can musicians heal themselves and then their communities? Since February 1, 2021, the violent military coup in Myanmar, into its 9th month, has shaken to their core the habits and assumptions of every citizen. Never before in Burmese history has an uprising against a corrupt military seen such courageous determination throughout society. Artists, poets, filmmakers, actors, musicians, farmers, vendors, teachers, politicians, business people, students, and even children have been imprisoned, tortured, or murdered by this regime. Still, citizens resist. And thanks to the internet, they still connect, despite COVID. Whether songs are newly composed or evoke the past, performers and audiences share a dread of the present, erasure of comfortable lives, the unknowns about what lies ahead. The many deaths during July's Delta surge of older traditional performing artists and writers is a profound loss to Myanmar's cultural legacy. As an urgent response, and at age 81, Gitameit, master teacher of Sangok, Uwimao, began uploading videos on Facebook, both for his students to learn and for posterity, of classical Mahagita songs and those inspired by the Mahagita tradition. He made sure to sit in front of the phone camera so that students could see his string technique. Here's a bit of his Yoria, Daungdo Daya, calm in the mountain forest. Sorry, they cut so abruptly. Since late August, through a donor grant, Gitameit teachers resumed gathering online as a group, despite unreliable connectivity for some. They are participating in a project called Peyenyi, Calming Waters, Trauma Healing with Arts. It involves 2 phases. The first phase was a 6-week series of Zoom workshops in September, exploring terms, understanding paths to healing collective trauma through music, art, theater, exercises, mind-body awareness, and vocal empowerment. Musicians were paid a stipend to attend these Zoom sessions with 3 Burmese and 3 American professionals of different specialties: motivational training, psychotherapy, medical practice, embodied voice, music therapy, theater exercises and storytelling, and African American gospel singing. Phase 2 of this trauma healing project involves each musician making 2 short videos on topics of their choice, forming a YouTube and Facebook library for the Myanmar general public. The musicians demonstrate practical skills, strategies, and terms to better recognize patterns of repressed pain, isolation, anger, and instead suggest self-healing rather than resignation as a path forward. For each musician, these workshops have not only brought solidarity during this countrywide isolation, but have introduced ways to express self-confidence, hope, expand modalities for survival in and out of music, reassurance, resilience, redirecting complaint, inviting possibility. Here's a glimpse of one of our guides, Karen Thikbin, on singing strength through humming. And Nim Point is the musician who shares that with her.
Okay. Hallelujah. 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 Wanna try?
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Yeah, love it, love it. I like the hallelujah. I like that.
We were so happy to have Karen join us, as we were happy to have all our guides. Humming, and for that matter, thrumming on an instrument too, inspired the musicians to imbue not just hallelujah, but words of similar power, offering self-confidence in Burmese and other languages of Myanmar, regardless of the musician's religious practice. Here's a clip from Saupatala Taw's video. He just sent it this week. A guitarist, Saupatala's native language is Bol Karen. He puts subtitles in Burmese for Burmese speaker audiences, narrating his process of writing new lyrics for the same melody, but carrying a more personal meaning in the double crisis of COVID and civil war. A generic love song in Karen becomes a passionate plea for the suffering to stop and for everyone to unite, particularly during Myanmar's current circumstances. Identities, integrities, and pedagogies all overlap. Learning to be the heartbeat, teaching the hope for oneself and one's community integrates all that musicians may already aspire to in their creating, performing, teaching, modeling as they project their poetic response to emotional realities within and around them. Thank you.